Let's head over to Gainesville. A absolutely pivotal game for Billy Napier's Florida Gators. You are playing against UCF, a team that you just saw got their absolute teeth kicked in by Colorado. A UCF team that's on the rise in recruiting, a team that is less talented than you at Florida, and you get them at home
Off a bye.
off of a bye. You have to win this game if you are Florida. You have to. There's no excuse. And what does this mean? Does this mean I think if you're Florida and to give yourself the best chance to win this game, I think you need Graham Mertz. I do. I do believe that. I think you need him to play well. I don't Billy Napier's job, I think, is on the line with this very game. And I'm sure the boosters and the aid or in the department and maybe some of his other coaching staff is like maybe putting the pressure on him to play DJ Lagway. I don't think he's ready yet. I think you got to go with Graham Mertz. And I think you got to ride with him this whole game. And I don't think that's going to happen, by the way. But are you in the same boat as me there? Like they need Graham Mertz to win this game.
They do. And I don't hate the idea of getting Lagway, some kind of packages, some kind of spots, changing the look for the defense, right? Making sure that UCF has to prepare for two different quarterbacks. But yeah, down to down, it has to be Mertz. He has to play better than he has played, but also play well for them to win this football game. You talk about Florida in terms of Billy Napier's job security. We looked at that November as being this crazy gauntlet that you gotta you where if you want to make a bowl game if you're Florida, right, which we thought would be an incredible feat for them, you have to be at 6 wins before the clock turns to November. That doesn't really look the case anymore. You talk about a Georgia team that looked very vulnerable in a couple games now, LSU and Ole Miss as well, and Florida State obviously at the end in November is definitely a very, very winnable football game right now. The thing is, you got to get there, and that starts with today, like you said, this week against UCF. UCF, at least they have an identity. That's what I'll say about them. They know what they are, right? They can run the football and run the ball well. It's when they get back in the negative game trip. We saw KJ Jefferson, a couple interceptions, right? Not being able to drive the football down, but also defensively, a lot of concerning issues there. A lot of concerning issues there. Not only did they let Colorado actually run the ball, 4.4 yards per carry, which they have not done all year. All Deion Sanders is tenure there at Colorado, but also the weapons that Colorado had were able to take advantage of UCF secondary. And look at Florida and how they played and how well they played against a pretty bad Mississippi State football team. They got after it. They had two incompletions all day. They averaged 6.3 yards per carry. That's where you want to be. You want to get up in the game and kind of pull away late. And that's what they were able to do. And it's at home, like we said. You cannot let this be a close game because you talk about a crowd maybe turning against you. You talk about giving UCF, who by the way has a huge chip on their shoulder in this football game, a chance to believe that they should win this football game. And by the way, they do. The line's what is one? It's Florida -1, and that means neutral side
Yep.
UCF is power rated higher than Florida. Florida's favored because they have that little bit of home field advantage. Wow, man, I know not everyone was super high in Florida, but and we were high in UCF, but I don't know how many people saw this line being as close as it is right now. Um, yeah, hopefully Florida's able to get healthy over the bye week. Hopefully they will regroup. Obviously, I know they were dealing with a lot of stuff, as was UCF, with all the weather and all that. Hope everyone's okay, in their homes and in their communities. But if I have to pick one, I'm probably going to use UCF solely because I believe they have an identity, and I think they're going to lean into that, and I think they'll be able to, on the road, that kind of stuff travels, right?
It really does. I UCF is vulnerable in that secondary. I thought that their secondary might have a chance to be better than it was last year, considering that their defensive line is very solid. And their ability to stop the run this year has been nothing short of, awesome. Of course, stats. When you play Colorado, those stats get a little bit inflated, but they've been pretty solid. Yeah, and Florida just got gashed in the run game against Miami and got gashed in the run game by Texas A&M.
Hmm.
I mean, I
And
want to
for
take
and Mississippi
Florida.
State too. Mississippi State had 240 yards playing in a negative game script too in that second
Yeah,
half.
I want to take Florida because I do think that they can take advantage of the passing game, but I just can't. I just can't. I have to go with UCF. You know that Gus Malzahn, he wants this game. He needs to bounce back. He's pissed. This team is pissed. And also UCF's got a little chip on their shoulder. They see the opportunity, by the way, to win this game against Florida and establish themselves as one of the top teams in the state of Florida, which is a
Yeah,
big deal.
right now, absolutely. It's Miami right now and everybody else. And everybody else has been disappointing thus far, right? And we talked about UCF last week. Yeah, absolutely. To me, obviously, you want to tell me like it means more to Florida and Billy Napier? Absolutely. They are, Florida. They are University of Florida. They should own the state of Florida, and they don't. And obviously, this game has more pressure on them because they are the SEC team. They are the home team. And obviously, the Gator logo there. But you want to talk about like actual impact on a college football season. UCF, like, is that team that can actually, can be a contender in the Big 12? We want to see that actually come to fruition. And that starts with today, even though it's not a conference game, but getting back, picking yourself off the ground, being able to stay true to your identity, not get shy after last week's embarrassment. I don't think Gus Malzahn will. He's a veteran coach. He knows what he is. That's why I feel good about them being able to bounce back.